How are you? I hope you are all fine. So we are going to discuss the second class on completing sentence today. We are going to discuss some very important rules, and we will learn these rules in a cluster. So if you remember those magic structure, you will be able to answer any sentence. So let's begin. So for today's class, this is rule number 1. So the example is, he speaks as if he knew everything. Second sentence, he spoke as if he had known everything. If there is as if, or, as though, or since in the middle of the sentence, what kind of grammatical changes will be held? Now see, the first clause, present indefinite tense or present perfect tense, then the second part or second clause, there will be past indefinite tense. See, past indefinite tense, subject plus V2, subject plus V2. In the second sentence, then you have to complete this sentence. How? As if is there, so follow this rule, as if is there. Past indefinite tense, past indefinite tense is here. So past indefinite tense, as if is there, then past perfect tense. That means subject plus head plus V3. Subject, head, V3. So if there is as if or as though or since, follow this structure. If there is present indefinite tense or present perfect tense, the last part will be past indefinite tense. The first part is past indefinite tense, then the second part of the last part will be past perfect tense. If you know this rule, you will be able to answer the sentences correctly. Now, rule number 2. Now this is going to be very interesting. We will discuss about this conditional sentence. First one is rule number if plus present plus present, if plus present plus future, if plus past indefinite subject, would or could or might or should plus V1. Then third is if plus past perfect subject, would or could, might or should plus have plus V3. Then let's see some example, then we will discuss. The number 1, the first thing is that now dear students, let's begin. Today we are going to discuss about very important thing, as I mentioned earlier. This is all about conditional sentence. That means there is a condition. If you want to complete it, you have to follow the condition. Otherwise, it will not be accomplished. So, conditional sentences can be classified into 2 ways. Number 1 is real conditional, then unreal conditional. Why this is real? Because it is possible. Why this is unreal? Because it is not possible. So, real conditionals, there are 2 rules for real conditional. Number 1 rule. Rule number 1, this is known as zero conditional. Now the structure of zero conditional is if plus present plus present. That means when if is added, condition is given. First clause will follow present indefinite tense and the next clause will follow present indefinite tense. This example, if you heat ice, then you have to complete the sentence how? It melts. See, this is present indefinite tense. it is also present indefinite tense. When will we apply this rule, real conditional and zero conditional? When it is habitual fact, when it is universal truth, when it is scientific truth. In that case, we have to use zero conditional. That means the first clause present indefinite tense, then the second clause is present indefinite tense. So very important, and you must remember this. Then real conditional, another real conditional. First conditional, we actually mentioned this. First conditional, if there is if, and if there is present indefinite tense, then the next clause will follow future indefinite tense. Example is, if it rains. Why there is rain? Because subject is singular. If it rains, so definitely from the rule it comes very clear to us that the next clause will follow future indefinite tense. So here we will not go out. So will is used. This is an indication of future. Then this is known as second conditional sentence. So in second conditional sentence, if is given, condition is there. Condition is applied. The first clause is past indefinite tense. Then another clause will be a subject, or you have to use would or could, might or should, and we know that there will be always the base form of the verb. So if you came, look at this verb, came, it is in past V2. Then according to this rule, it will follow would or could, might or should plus V1. Then I used I would go with you, because we have to make a sensible sentence. In that case, you have to use a relevant verb. So if you came, I would go with you. That means if you came in the past, I would go with you. Maybe you did not come, I did not go with you. Something like that. And the last one is, it is known as third conditional sentence. This is the structure of third conditional sentence. If plus past perfect tense, then what would happen in the next clause? There will be subject, there will be would or could, might or should, then there will be, most importantly, there will be have. Then there will be V3, that means the past participle form of the verb. So in the example, if you had come, past perfect tense, if is there, what would happen? Third conditional sentence, I would have gone with you. So this rule is being followed here. First clause, past perfect tense. Last clause, would have, could have, might have, should have. Then remember this, have is there, so past participle form of the verb. Now how you will make this sentence depends on you. According to the first part, you have to create the next part. So dear students, if you remember this rule, it will be very easy for you to answer anything. I would like to add another example here. In the completing sentence, if there is had I a lot of money or had I been a king, see, very relevant to the previous one. It seems that this is conditional. Yes, it's a kind of conditional also. And follow this. Remember, maybe you guess, maybe there is if. What would happen? The first clause is following past indefinite tense. Had is the base form. Maybe it is not the base form actually. Here it is the past form. I mean the V2. So the first clause is past indefinite tense. And the second clause is following would. We know that in conditional sentence, the first conditional, if plus past indefinite, then would plus V1. And second conditional, the first clause, past perfect, so had is there and the past participle is there. So first conditional, past perfect, then the second clause will follow would have or could have, might have, should have. The same thing. So if you follow this conditional sentence, you can also solve this kind of problem. Sentence starting with had. Had I a lot of money, I would buy a car. A sensible sentence. Had I been a king, I would have helped the poor. So sensible sentence. So if this kind of examples are there in the question, we can solve this kind of sentences using the conditional sentence. Now rule number 3. Provided that, providing that, providing. Example, plane will take off. in time, provided that the weather is good. So if there is provided that or providing, what kind of changes will be these? Something like conditional sentence. You see, will take off in time, future indefinite tense. So first conditional, what happens? The same thing is happening here. So provided that is there, is kind of condition, then it is the present indefinite tense. In the first conditional we have seen if plus present plus future. Here it is vice versa. The first clause is future indefinite tense, the second clause will follow present indefinite tense. So the plane will take off in time, provided that the weather is good. If the weather is good, then the plane will take off in time. Rule number 4, lest plus subject plus should or might plus V1. Example, he ran away lest he might be seen. So he ran away lest. This is mentioned in the sentence. You have to complete it. How? You have to complete? See the rule. If there is lest, so then the subject will be there. So you have to bring a subject, then subject will follow either should or might. So I have written might, then we know this is a modal verb acting, then there will be the base form of the verb. He might be seen. So follow this structure, you will be able to answer any kind of sentence and it will be grammatically flawless. Now rule number 5, in spite of or despite plus subject plus verb plus extension. Example, in spite of her having merit, you have to answer this correctly. She failed in the exam. She failed in the examination. So if there is in spite of or despite, in spite of or despite, then there will be subject, there will be verb, and there will be extension. Example, in spite of her having merit, she failed in the exam. She failed in the examination. She had merit, but in spite of having her merit, she could not pass. So I am referring this to the past action, that's why I have used past indefinite tense or simple past tense in the next part of the sentence, and this is how I have completed my whole sentence. Rule number 6. Rule number 6 is without plus gerund plus extension plus subject plus verb plus extension. Example, without reading more you cannot pass. You cannot pass. So without plus gerund, we know that without plus gerund, read plus ing, that means verb plus ing. So verb plus ing giving the sense of noun is gerund. Without reading more, sentence is up to this. Then you have to complete the sentence. How you will complete the sentence depending on you. Using your memory, using your creativity, follow the structure, the sentence will be grammatically correct. So subject, subject, verb, verb, then extension. It is up to you. So without reading more, you cannot pass. Then rule number 7, by plus gerund plus subject plus verb plus other words or extension, whatever you want, you can say. Example, by reading more, we can learn more. So let's see the structure. By plus gerund plus subject plus verb plus other words or extension. Follow the structure. By. So here it is by. Gerund, verb plus ing. Okay. So according to structure, here is by, so by is there. Then gerund, gerund, verb plus ing. Then subject, subject is there. Then verb, verb is there. This is modal verb, then the base form of the verb. According to the sentence, we have to use this. So if there is by plus gerund, we can form any sentence like this. So you will be able to answer gerund plus verb. This is how you can form this kind of sentences. Rule number 8. This is a very important rule. Would you mind? Then verb plus ing. This will be the structure. Example, would you mind giving me a cup of tea. So example is given here, would you mind plus verb plus ing, would you mind, the sentence is there. Now you have to complete the sentence. How you will complete the sentence? This grammatical structure will help you to make grammatically correct sentence. How you will make? You have to use your creativity. So would you mind is there, would you mind is there, verb plus ing, give is the main verb, then ing is added. Then rest of the part I have used it according to the first clause because I have to match it. So would you mind giving me a cup of tea? Question mark will be there. It makes an interrogative sentence. So dear students, I hope in today's class actually we discussed 8 rules so far. You must have very good idea. Very important rules we have discussed. We have discussed about conditional sentences, which is very important for your whole life and is a part and parcel of English grammar. And if you follow this structure, you will be able to make grammatically correct sentence. Now there will be homework. I will write 5 incomplete sentences. You have to complete those sentences using the rules that I have discussed in today's class. So these are 5 incomplete sentences. You have to complete these sentences. It was many years since. Would you mind? Run fast, lest if there is rain without taking physical exercise. So the rules that I discussed in today's class, it will be helping you to solve this kind of grammatical problem. Dear students, you will get this video in Kishore Batayan. If you want, you can pass your comments over there. We shall try to give some feedback in that video.